Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of our podcast, Nothing in My Brain. My name is Joey,
And my name is Olivia.
and we are honored to have Lawrence Harris, a 19-year-old motivational speaker. So, to start off this episode, could you maybe introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your background?
Well, for those who don't know me, obviously, my name is Lawrence, and I'm a youth empowerment speaker, which is really just a fancy way to say I'm like a motivational speaker, but I specialize in not only motivating you, but giving you actionable steps to improve your mental health. And I focus in on teens and young adults because I'm 19, and throughout my life, I've had many different challenges with my own mental health. In particular, it's called complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which is there's a lot of symptoms to it, but the main ones are issues with handling your emotions, issues with relationships, trust issues, paranoia, a lot of different things. And it came about as a result of when I was 13, growing up in an abusive household, getting kicked out, and having to learn to manage all of that. And then, the COVID pandemic only made it worse, and dealing with high school, and everything was just coming at me left and right. But with the help of therapists and a lot of work I had to do on my own, I was able to find things that helped me to get better. And I decided to dedicate my life to helping other people do the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's definitely really inspirational. So I know you definitely went through like a lot of struggles in your childhood. So can you maybe elaborate a little bit on how your childhood experience inspired you to want to help teens and other people?
That's a great question. So, up until the age of 11, I didn't really have friends because I could never relate to anybody. I was either too nerdy for the kids who want to play sports, or I was too nerdy for the ones who liked reading. When everybody else wanted to go watch like a cartoon, I wanted to watch National Geographic.
Hmm.
So, from a young age, I never really fit in with people. And that led to this feeling of being isolated. It was like you really want friends, you want people to care about you and support you, but no matter what you do, it seems like you can never get that. And
Hmm.
you'll start making this story in your own head about how nobody cares and nobody loves you. And it's just a really dark place to be. And it gets so painful sometimes because you have people who care about you. I had a mom who cared about me. I have siblings who care. I had a therapist who cared. I had a girlfriend who cared. And I had a lot of people who cared. But when you have trouble loving yourself, it's hard to see that you do have people who care about you.
Hmm. Yeah, that's definitely true. Finding support from the people around you is definitely really important.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you were diagnosed with autism as a child, is that correct?
Yeah.
So, what was it like growing up with autism and how has it shaped you throughout like your childhood?
Well, like I mentioned, it makes you very different from most people around you. So when people hear about autism, they think about one of two things. They think about, have you ever seen the show Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They either think about Sheldon Cooper or they think about somebody who's like drooling on themselves.
Hmm.
But autism, it's less of a level one, level three, and it's more like a giant color wheel. And some people have trouble with socializing, other people have trouble with talking or communicating, and there's a lot of things to it. But for me, it was hard to express myself to people because I just saw the world so differently. And then, you get into other things like how the way I move and talk, and you're going to end up noticing this, but my hand gestures that's something that helps me to regulate myself and stay calm and
Hmm.
be more mentally clear. But because I grew up in a family where not many people were aware of what autism was, they really weren't able to see the signs. So I had to learn how to manage it and how to seem normal enough to people. But when you're doing something like that, it's you're trying to be someone that the world wants you to be instead of just being yourself. Because every time you're just being yourself, people think you're weird and they
Hmm.
make fun of you for it. So as I learned to accept myself more and love who I really am, I had to learn how to stop being what everybody else wanted and just be Lawrence. I I hope that answered your question clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. I think just like being yourself, that's like a really important thing, and just like not caring about how you're perceived by others. So I was also like wondering if you could maybe explain what CPTSD is, like how it differs from regular PTSD, and then how you've kind of like managed that throughout the years.
Okay. So PTSD usually is caused by one single event, like one really bad traumatic event. It's happened from a one-time event. Like maybe you were in a war and it was in a different country. So every time you hear a balloon pop, you have a flashback of being in a war zone. But CPTSD happens from long-term exposure to something.
Mhm.
So traumatic events happening a lot of times over a long period of time. And every time something triggers you, you're back mentally how you were when that event happened. So I'll give an example like this. I would be 14, 15 years old, just live my life, and I'm feeling a lot better back then. And then I see a brown minivan drive by. For context, my dad drove a brown minivan.
Oh.
And then I see that and it triggers me. And now I remember when I was 13 sitting on this black couch and he blacked my eye. And then I feel the ringing in my head. I feel my face bleeding and everything. It's like you re-experience it every single time something triggers you. But the way that you deal with it is you have to learn how to calm yourself down in that moment. And I cannot remember her name off the top of my head, but there was a lady you interviewed who she runs a she runs a podcast called She Persists,
Oh yeah. Sadie?
and she was talking about DBT. I went through that same thing too. I went through DBT, which is dialectical behavioral therapy, and I went through one called cognitive behavioral therapy.
Mhm.
Cognitive is more about a conversation with yourself to notice that this thing triggered you. You feel upset, you feel worried, but that's not real. Like you notice that okay, the event that happened is real, but the thing that just triggered you, like you saw a brown minivan, you saw a black couch. Yes, that's in front of you, but that is not the couch you got hit on. So you learn how to calm yourself down. And then as the years went on, I found things that I still do every day that help me a lot.
Mhm.
Journaling,
Yeah.
so that you can get your thoughts down and it helps you to be more present and calm. Exercise, because when you're stressed out or you're angry, you feel it in your body. So if you go run around your house or you go swim or do yoga or jumping jacks or push-ups or whatever, it allows you to get that energy out of you. And the last one is just going outside. It sounds so simple, but if you stay inside of the house all day and it's dark and it's cold and you just feel stuck, it makes it feel worse. You just have to go outside and take a deep breath, go for a 5-minute walk, and it will help a lot.
Yeah, I really agree with like your advice for going outside.
Yeah.
Like I find that that calms me down a lot and
Right.
I like do it a lot because I just get in like a really reflective mood whenever I'm outside. So,
Yeah. Okay, so talking about like, you talked about how a lot of people feel insecure about themselves. Like, why do you think that is?
There's there's a lot of things, but
maybe part
it's it's really painful. But when you think about it, the world often teaches us to be insecure. Like if you go on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, you could see somebody your age driving a Lamborghini and they're making $1 million a month and they look better than you, they're taller than you, they're stronger than you, they have more stuff than you, and they're trying to sell you a $900 course. Or you go and you look at a magazine and this model looks so much better than me. Or you see somebody's Instagram post and they have so many more likes than you. And you start to compare what you have to what they have. And then you hear so many messages about you not being good enough if you don't look a certain way, or you don't earn a certain amount of money, or you don't come from a certain background, or you don't have this degree, or you're not old enough, or you're not this enough. And you hear it everywhere. So the reason why a lot of people are insecure is because there's so many things out there that makes us insecure, but there's so little that reminds us that we're good enough. There's not that many popular messages that say you're good enough as you are, even if you're even if you talk different or you look different or you have trouble with something that most people don't, you're good enough. There's so little of that, but there's so much telling us that no matter what we do, it's never enough.
That's definitely true. A lot of people like flaunt on social media, and that's kind of exacerbating it all. So, what are some techniques or like mindset shifts that helps you challenge in your insecurities and can also help others?
It sounds silly, but telling yourself in a mirror that you're good enough.
Mhm.
Finding things about yourself that you like. That could be physical things, that could be mental things, it can be character traits, it can be skills that you have, it can be your grades, it can be literally anything. Just find stuff about yourself that you're proud of. Then taking actions towards a worthwhile goal. So finding a goal that you want. Maybe it could be getting to college. It could be a 4.0 GPA. It could be building muscle in the gym. Whatever your goal is, making progress towards it. Because when you see progress in any goal, it motivates you to keep going. And
Mhm.
the more you keep going and the more progress you make, there comes a point when you realize, wait, I am good enough to achieve this thing. When I first started trying to help other people, I felt this insecurity that, well, I'm not a therapist. I don't have a degree in this. I don't have some medical license or any of that. And I had to remind myself that, Lawrence, your life experience is your degree in this. And as you keep going, as you refuse to quit, you start to realize that you're enough. Then from there, you can find other resources like it all for me, it always comes back to journaling. When
Mhm.
you write down what you're going through, you can look back on that and see how far you've come. You can go in your journal and see last month, this is how I felt, this is what I was going through, and I can see how far I've come. And then last year, and the year before that, and the year before that, and you start to build up this track record with yourself that says you can do it. And every time you achieve something new, it's like a little boost. And action creates confidence. And then as you have more results and you have more action, you just keep going.
That's really interesting. I like the positive feedback loop.
Yeah, so we talk about
Yeah.
self-love a lot. So why do you think self-love is so important?
Self-love?
Yeah.
Well, if you don't love yourself, it's really hard to love life.
Hmm.
Like, imagine, okay, imagine if you were in a relationship with somebody and they're always talking about how, how insecure they are of themselves and how much they don't like this about themselves and how much they don't like that about themselves, or they've always complaining and they're like, I can never do this, I can never achieve it. It's going to be really hard to stay around that person. Now, if you're being that person to yourself, it's like being in a toxic relationship with yourself.
Hmm.
So when you have an opportunity in life, you will hold yourself back because you think, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to go to college. I'm not good enough to get that high paying job. I'm not good enough to date that person. I'm not good enough to get that car. I'm not good enough, so I'm not going to try. But when you love yourself, you start to think, yeah, I'm good enough. I don't have a degree. I don't have this. I don't have that. But I'm good enough to try. Worst case scenario, the college says no. Worst case scenario, the job says no. But when you love yourself deeply and you love yourself based on who and what you are, not based on what you have, you will not be defined by what's in your bank account or defined by what you have. You just love you. And when you love you, naturally, people want to be around somebody who's in a good mood. People give opportunities to people who are in a good mood. It's like when you're happy, you find more things to be happy about.
Hmm.
And when you love yourself, there comes a point when you will find more things about yourself to love, and you'll have so much love inside of you that you naturally want to share it with the world. Like you'll start smiling at strangers, you'll start telling the lady at the grocery store to have a good day, and you start brightening the entire world just because you love yourself.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
really inspirational.
Yeah.
Just like loving yourself for who you are, but not like being defined by your accomplishments. And
Yes,
also, yeah.
it's if you go, I always circle it back to this example of people on Instagram. If you look on social media, everybody has a perfect life. Everybody has a nice car, they have an amazing relationship, they have $1 million on social media. Everybody has a great life. But they're showing you stuff that can be bought, stuff that can be taken away, stuff that can be rented. You can't buy self love. You can't buy this. You cannot buy loving you. You can buy stuff that makes life fun. You can buy stuff that gives you entertainment. But when it comes to being able to lay your head on a pillow at night, no matter if you have $1 million or you have zero and still feel the same, you can't buy that. And the more you love yourself, not based on what you have, but who you are, the less you will feel the need to show off. Like the people who love themselves the most, you're going to notice that they don't really show off that much. Yeah, they might tell you about their new car or what they've achieved, but they're not bragging. They're not shoving it in your face. Um, people, have you heard of the term a narcissist?
Yes.
So I've looked into what narcissism truly is.
Hmm.
Not it's not the person who goes around like saying, I love myself so much, I'm so great, I'm all of this. Real narcissism is actually when a person hates themselves so much that they feel the need to make everybody else adore them to try and fill this void that they have in themselves.
Mm.
That's why people who are genuine narcissists, people, they will panic if somebody tells them no to the smallest thing, or you can't have that, you can't do that. They will have this huge meltdown like a 5-year-old if you just say no to them. And they'll show you, look at all my money, look at my car, look at my this, look at my that, because I don't want you to look at me, because they can't even look at themselves. Whereas people who just are confident and people who value and love themselves, they don't really do that. They they enjoy their stuff. They're not afraid to let it be known what they have, but they don't feel the need to shove down your throat, look at everything I've achieved.
Yes, definitely. I think like just being content with yourself, it's like so difficult, but it's like the most fulfilling. Like you can only find happiness in yourself. So I kind of wanted to ask like how do you instill self-love in yourself and how can others do this as well?
Well, there's a lot of ways. Building a good track record with yourself, being honest with yourself, and when you say you're going to do something, do it
Hmm.
because it builds trust. And when you trust yourself, it's easier to believe what you say. And when you believe what you say, when you say something like, I'm proud of myself, you believe it because you believe yourself enough. And then there's other things such as removing people, places, and things that aren't good for you. This applies to every person listening to this. There is a person, there is a thing, there is a place you go, there's something you do that holds you back. It might be a bad friendship, it might be a bad relationship, it might be a bad habit, it might be going out to a party that you know you shouldn't go to. When you remove the things that are holding you back, it's easier to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
You wouldn't try to climb a mountain with a book bag full of cement because it's weighing you down. It serves you no good. There is no reason why you need to hold on to that baggage. And it's hard to let go sometimes because the person that might be holding you back could be a family member. That's what it was for me. I had to let go of a lot of family members because they weren't good for me. It hurt a lot. It was painful, but on the other side of all of that pain is a really good life. It might be a certain habit you have. Like it could be staying on your phone too late at night. It could be that simple. It could be an addiction. It could be anything. If you get honest with yourself, you'll find the answer. And if you surround yourself with people who tell you how bad you are and how just you're worthless and all these mean things, it's going to be harder for you to keep that self love because of what you're surrounding yourself with, especially if you decide you want to do something good for the world, especially if you decide, like with this podcast, there's going to come a day when somebody's going to say something mean. It's just going to happen. It's
Hmm.
unfortunately it's part of the process. And you have to love yourself and keep enough mental strength to know that other people's opinions don't define you. Other people's judgment doesn't define you. Then the last thing I would say that really helps me a lot is give yourself the freedom to just disconnect from the phone. Sometimes you need to put the phone down and have some quiet. For me, that's going fishing. I'll go fishing for 10 hours and not look at my phone.
Wow.
It's just me and my thoughts. And that allowed me to stay calm. It allowed me to understand that no matter what the world says about me, I'm the one who has to live my life.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So you talked about a lot about like your struggles during your childhood. So why like how can a person like begin to like navigate and come to terms with like their past traumas?
There's a lot of ways.
Mhm.
Now, I was fortunate enough to have therapy. That helped me a lot. But a lot of people might not have access to it, whether that's financial, location, a lot of things. Therapy does cost money. It's at the end of the day, you're paying somebody, so you need to have the money for that. Or you might not know how to act for that because people could be stopping you from going. There's a lot of things, but a great way to come to terms with it is again journaling. It's for the low price of like $2. You can go get a journal from a dollar store, and you
Mhm.
can just write out how you feel and what you're going through, and you just start off with what do you want to write about. Maybe you don't know what you want to write about, and you just write until you get tired. And you'll start to notice things like, okay, I always get mad when people make fun of my shoes. Well, why? Well, because they're making me feel like I'm poor. Okay, well, why do you care when people make you feel like you're poor? Oh, because when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of money and people would treat me badly for that. So now for the rest of my life, it has led to me getting mad whenever somebody makes any joke or comment that triggers that little kid in me. And then you start to think about that little kid. Like, what did he need? How could I support him? If I were going back and talking to my little kid self, what would I do for him? And then you start to treat yourself how you wish you wanted someone to treat that little kid. And that right there is called parts work. It's where inside of us we have all these different parts that make us up. Like there's a little kid you, there's an old version of you, there's you now. It sounds weird, but this is how it works. And
Mhm.
you start to heal these different parts of you, and then you become this more whole puzzle, and you heal all these different sides of who you are, and then you start to feel better. Now, at a certain point, you'll have to confront traumas about yourself that are scary, like the big stuff. Like, okay, it might have been childhood abuse, it could have been sexual assault, it could have been like some really major things. You could have grown up in severe poverty where you didn't have clothes, like you only had one pair of shoes, one shirt, one pair of pants, and you had to wash it in a river. That's some people, that's how they grew up. Other people, they grew up in a war zone. There's a lot of situations where people have these traumas that they're afraid to become aware of because when you become aware of it, you have to notice that, oh, yeah, that really happened. But the best advice I can give to somebody, if you don't have access to therapy and you don't have access to like a trained medical professional, like a counselor or a doctor who can help with this,
Mhm.
is to be have friends or people around you who you trust. Because when you become aware of the big traumas and the big stuff, there's this emotional breakdown that will happen. And when that happens, you need somebody to help you calm down and keep an eye on you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, like, I really love that description that you gave about journaling and all that stuff. So I kind of wanted to ask, since we were talking about like confronting your trauma and you've been really open about your childhood story, how important is owning your story or like sharing it?
Well, with owning your story, you have to know that the past, until you confront it and until you deal with it, it's like you ever seen those cartoons where they have the puppet tied to the string, there's the hand above it moving the puppet
Yeah.
around? So up here, that's the trauma that you don't deal with. That's all the stuff that you refuse to pay attention to. And you're down here and it's just moving you all around because you're afraid to cut the strings. You're afraid to let go and get free of it. But in order to get free from it, you have to admit that it's there. That when you were younger, something may have happened and it's led to you having trouble with relationships. It's led to you having trouble with maintaining friendships. It's led to you having trouble with your finances. It's led to this problem that keeps showing up in your life no matter what you do. And once you become aware of it and you do the work needed to break free and heal from it, now you're able to no longer be ran by the past. Now, when it comes to sharing what you went through, that depends. Like, if you want to share it, go ahead and do that. You
Hmm.
know, obviously, I'm a bit biased because my whole career is literally sharing my worst traumas on the internet, and I go into schools and churches and all these places and do it because for me, it helps.
Hmm.
You would think that saying it over and over would hurt, but at a certain point, you realize that that's the past, and I can use the bad stuff that happened to me to help people get through their journey and through their problems. But I will say, if you decide that you don't want to go up and share that to people like a group or something, at least tell the people you live with. At least tell like your mom or your dad or your close family members and the people in your house, because then they'll be able to support you. They'll be able to be more mindful and understand why you jump every time you hear a loud noise, or they'll be able to understand why you act a certain way or you talk a certain way, or you have trouble with going to restaurants and ordering your own food. Then they can understand that, oh no, you're not just like really shy and nervous. There's a bigger reason. So at least tell the people you live with.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with like needing a support system and feeling understood. So, what message would you give to like the teens and young adults out there who struggle with not feeling enough or feeling too much?
It's a great question. There's a lot of things I could say,
Hmm.
but the main one is that your pain has a purpose. So whatever it is that you're going through, maybe you feel like people don't understand you. You're just so weird. You're so different. There's people out there who are just as weird and different as you. Like maybe you're really into Pokemon cards, or you're really into Dungeons and Dragons, or whatever it is that you like. There's people who play that professionally. They make careers out of playing Pokemon. So no matter how different you are from the people around you, your people are out there. And it starts with you. It starts with you loving you and not being afraid to let the world see that. You have to allow people the freedom. You have to allow people the freedom to see you as you are,
Hmm.
to know that no matter what the world says or what their opinion is, the only person who goes in your casket is you. So it's in your best interest to have a good relationship with yourself, because from the moment you're born until the moment you die, you have to be around yourself.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
that was definitely really inspirational. And I think like the casket thing you brought up was really interesting.
yeah,
Like how at the end of the day, it's like
just you.
people are gonna come and go, but
Yeah,
you like this is like a little cliche, but you're gonna stick with yourself like all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and then as you go through life, and I've said that phrase to myself for years, and it's gotten me through so many problems. That
Mhm.
Lawrence, you're the only one going in your casket.
Yeah.
And it ties into things like, if you make your entire life about, I just need to make money, I need people to think I'm cool, I need a car, I need this, I need a mansion, I need a mega yacht. Okay, you go get all those things. You have all these things. But when you're buried, they don't put your money in the casket. They
Hmm.
don't put your house in the casket. They don't put your car in the casket. They don't even put your wife in the casket with you.
Yeah.
It's just you.
Mhm.
And when that happens and you take that last breath and you're 95, 80 years old, whenever your time comes, and you're just looking at the sea and you're like, dang, none of this is going with me. I gotta go in there by myself. So you need to love yourself before you try to get all the material things because your money will become somebody else's money. Your house will be sold and become someone else's house. Your car will get melted down and turned into a new car. But you are with you 24/7. And when you don't have a good relationship with yourself, and I'm saying this from experience,
Mhm.
because I used to have a really bad relationship with myself, you will be stuck with you. You'll be feeling like trapped in your own mind. But once you find the strength to break free of your own mind and you start to turn that dark place into a place where you can feel comfortable and calm and peaceful, you realize that it's a really good thing that you get buried by yourself. Because when you love yourself deeply and it's just you in that casket, you're like, you know what? I enjoyed my life. I can go out happy and proud of who I was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay, so that was our last question, and I honestly really enjoyed talking with you. Like, I think everything that you said was just very empowering, and honestly, I think like my own perspective like shifted while I was like listening. So I just wanted to say that your story is like very inspirational, and I think like what you're doing is also just like really amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you for talking with us today.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
really enjoyed, again, we really enjoyed it. And I think like the way you speak, I really like the way you speak as well. It's like really nice presentation, and I also just really like the pacing. So, yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. And just to make sure we don't forget it, if anybody listening to this episode would like to find out more about my speeches or whatever else I'm up to, like I'm in the process of writing a book right now, and
Mhm.
it's going to be a bit of a long time before it comes out, but my social media pages are all Lawrence C. Empowers, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And
Okay,
as
yeah.
a
We'll
podcast
definitely
host or school principal, Lawrence at lawrenceharris.com is my email address.